On the shelf. Ba-da-da-da-da. Some news for you. And you still find out that you have to eat your lunch all by yourself. 'Cause I'm already gone. And I'm feeling strong. I will sing this victory song. Woo-hoo-hoo. Uh-huh. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Gentlemen on the screen with me. Welcome
Good
to
morning. Morning. Great morning.
Little eagles to kick ourselves in the ass. I'm still not seeing. I love that line. You can see the stars, but still not see the light. Woo!
Look at this crew coming in. Love that Richard Gaff has become a regular in the huddle. Awesome, Richard. Thank you.
Miss Solarillo, welcome to the party.
Oh, hold on. Thank you, Lori.
Oh, wow, I love it.
I don't know if you can see it. 15 minutes.
This is a really good air guitar song.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody rolling in. God, love it. Good to see the crowd.
All right. That felt good, didn't it? It's a nice. I've been listening to that song all morning. It has deep meaning for what we're going to talk about today because we are chock full of content. We're going to dig into the 90-day rule. If you're in business for yourself or you're in business with a partner or if you're in business with, working for somebody and you don't know what the 90-day rule, it will change your life. And so we will get into that today. Good morning, Shay. How's life treating you?
Oh, good. Another day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. How about you, Mark Nudelberg?
Fantastic. Great boxing class this morning. Good morning, Christy. Just great stuff. Just really continuing to learn, grow, develop every single day. It's exciting stuff. And I feel cool.
I want to give a shout out to Tammy McKenzie, friend, client who was out in Houston. She jumped the hurdle and got into the video game yesterday. Please give her a big Huddle welcome and go to her page on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and see her video because she did what the hardest thing is. She jumped in the pool. So congratulations to you, my dear. I think you did a great job. It was pretty awesome. So thank you all for commenting on my jacket. Today I have a presentation to a group that I'm really excited to speak to. We'll be sharing my thoughts on modernizing the sales process, talking about deep prospecting and all that kind of stuff. So, I think you do judge a book by its cover. So first impressions are significant, hence the pink jacket. Let me jump into some content today, guys. I think there's some really cool stuff. If you have not noticed, it's a full moon. And, growing up, I always said, oh, man, when the crazies come out, when the full moon is there. So there is something called moonology. Mark, did you know that this existed?
No, I've only known about astrology, but moonology, I guess, would make sense as well.
Moonology is not an exact science, but in a world filled with uncertainty, it's comforting to think that there's some kind of higher power out there that helps us move things along. It's pretty kind of cool. It's like, I've heard this term for the last couple of years. Michelle informed me, Mercury in retrograde. I don't really know what that means, but the moon has a power. You know that. It's when the wolves are out, all that kind of stuff. So throughout history, the moon has been associated with making magic, and doesn't matter what your higher power is. If it's the moon, that's awesome. What it does teach you is to set your intentions, write them down. And the full moon comes out twice a month. And so anybody interested in further dialogue about moonology, just reach out and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Scott Graham was howling last night, which is howling at the full moon. But I mean, there's science behind the moon, obviously, like just understanding that if the moon moves the slightest little bit, it changes the way the earth rotates, changes the axis, changes the tides, it changes everything. So, I mean, that the philosophy of that and understanding that the tiniest little change can make the most massive effect, but you have to do it consistently because it's got to be a constant change. You can't change it and go back. You got to change it daily.
It's so great. I mean, for me, it speaks to rhythm. There is a rhythm, comes out every 2 weeks, yada, yada, yada. So all good stuff. I want to revisit Warren Buffett. We had a great conversation on Monday about his birthday. If you have not seen it, Bill Gates created a video that was him baking a cake for Warren Buffett. And if you have not seen the video, that is kind of what it looks like. And it's an Oreo cake. It's really, really cool. Google it, look it up. When you got a guy who's the richest man in the world baking cakes, man, it's kind of cool.
Well, the story is unbelievable because just goes to show you how Bill Gates thinks with a sales mentality, with a value mentality. He remembers that Warren Buffett ate Oreos for breakfast. So he created a whole thing for him and Warren about Oreos. You know, they had an Oreo together. So that was a thing that meant something to them. So moving forward, using video, baking an Oreo cake for him, like unbelievable personal touch.
Good
from
job.
Bill Gates to Warren Buffett, like personal.
Good job. Chuck Dodd, who is new to South Florida, welcome to the Huddle. He moved here from Nashville. He's got a great comment that says, "Good mooning."
Yeah, Jim shot out there mooning. I was like, all right, here we go.
So we already lost track. We're off the rails. Good stuff. So I want to talk about dumbbells and dummies. Speaking of full moon, for those who have not noticed, gyms have been closed. People have been trying to create workouts at home, and there is a worldwide shortage of dumbbells. No. Leave it to the Daily Huddle to talk about that. Demand is way up. One fitness exec said sales in May were 600% higher than the year before. Pretty incredible. And supply chains are just shot. Most of the dumbbells in the world were made in China, not happening. So, I actually, a while back, walked into a Dick's, which I haven't been in a Dick's Sporting Goods in a really long time. Good morning, Dave Stavali. Great having you back. I walked in there and I said to the guy, "Hey, I'm interested in dumbbells." And the guy just actually cracked up laughing. So dumbbells are no more. Hard to find dumbbells.
So if you have them at your house, it might be a great thing to throw on eBay.
So it's interesting because if you go into Facebook Marketplace, people are reselling. The resale market for dumbbells is completely off the chart. 600% higher than, so it's the new crack cocaine, which is just insane. So anyway, speaking of dummies, there's a company out of Minneapolis, actually a bar called the Town Hall Brewery, and it's the first bar to test run 3-dimensional cardboard dummies who will be placed at the bar to make the bar look more full. So
and keep social distancing, because this is a real thing. Like I've gone out to restaurants, like we've sat at a table and then the restaurant came and sat somebody right next to us at the table and put us in a position to have to say something to move those people, or put them in a position to say, "Hey, we're not comfortable sitting here next to those people." So it takes the guessing out of it. Nobody has to communicate anything. You put the dummies in the seats. Everybody knows where they're allowed to sit. It keeps it simple, and there's some marketing value
and
there.
It looks full. Oh, correct. And you know what? That real estate is marketing for liquor companies and other people, because I'm with Scott Graham. That freaks the shit out of me, man. I don't want to be sitting next to a dummy or a cutout or whatever. It just doesn't really work for me. But dummies and dumbbells, the big takeaway of the pandemic is that there's a shortage of dumbbells. Like You had said that in January, just out of context. There's never a shortage of dumbbells.
Shows the importance of at-home fitness right now.
Well, forget about fitness. When we would refer to people who were not all there as dumbbells.
Yeah.
I'm going to tee up a video this morning. Shay in the room, could you grab us this video? This will open up, tee us up for Hall of Fame / Hall of Shame emails and retorts. So Shay, go for it.
Tell me what?
Well,
I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. Hello?
Hi. Would you be interested in switching over to TMI long distance service?
Oh, gee, I can't talk right now. Why don't you give me your home number and I'll call you later?
Well, I'm sorry. We're not allowed to do that.
Oh, I guess you don't want people calling you at home.
No.
Well, now you know how I feel.
So my friend Scott McGregor posted something the other day about the way that people are acting now, the way people are posting. It's all about real life. Be genuine. Think about the conversations you jump into. Think about where you're coming from, what's happening. So in keeping with the Hall of Shame, which I love, I got an in-mail message from Michael Fornacier, who's the president of a financial company, and he used the same exact message as on Monday.
Read it again, just so people know.
It's unbelievable. The same exact message. I hope you are safe and sound. I genuinely believe in building meaningful connections and relationships on LinkedIn. Bullshit. You sent me the same message as somebody else. And if we both have resources and can benefit, somebody got paid to put this content together and suggested to these people, this is the right way to market yourself in this economy. How dumb. Unbelievable. So, Michael, you go right to that of the class. This one's hard to believe. I sent this to the gentleman sharing the screen with me. And I don't know if it's a fake account or if it's bullshit, but the guy's name is Philpus Francis. And he asked to connect. And so I went with it and said, Philpus, thanks for the invite. Can you remind me? Brother, did you believe on the Jesus Christ?
I got nothing for you. I'm a brother. I'm a believer. I'm in. But you know what? I got nothing for you right here.
Nothing for you, right? Move along down the road, Johnny. Johnny, here we go. John Heyman, who is a wealth management advisor. So here comes the financial category. Hi, Steve. I saw you come up a few times on suggested connections. I thought I'd reach out. Okay, just because somebody. Okay, not for me.
Thank you.
You have one you want to throw in there?
I have one that I want to celebrate. I have a Hall of Fame, and shout out to Stephen David, who said, Mark. So, and this is great because I've noticed now that we're doing this, I'm getting messages with the invitation, which it's taken us months and years of teaching LinkedIn like a pro to get people to send a message with the invite. But Stephen David says, first of all, I hope you and your family and your team are managing okay through the COVID-19 mess we are all going through. I just wanted to introduce myself since I listened to one of your Huddle calls and have been in sales for over 25 years, and the excitement you and Steve bring is amazing. Thank you.
Bam.
Boom.
Drop the mic.
There you go. All right.
Let's be friends.
Let's have a conversation.
Gotta love it, man. So I love Jack Edelman. Great. There's some dumbbells for you. I told you there's dumbbells all over the place. So no more Hall of Shame, Hall of Fame stuff. Talking about the power of the huddle, not just an email. Big shout out to Kelly Martin and Seth Turnoff. There he is. I told you he's going to be in our life forever. Love that guy. Love his name. It turns out, and you can't make this shit up, that Kelly Martin is writing a check because her son is in Tallahassee. She's writing a check to the landlord. Who's the landlord in Tallahassee? Seth Turnoff.
Boom.
You want to talk about the power that's happening in our huddle? Two people who would have never crossed paths, and now they're speaking, and really, really cool. So shout out to both of you guys. Shout out to Nadir Mansour, who said, hi, Steve. Watched your video content on value-based approach. He even went to the topic. to cold outreach yesterday, and a lot of it resonated. You seem like a wise person, hence the connection request. Welcome aboard. More
Boom.
Miss Gail Harush. Gail, Hi, Steve. Just came across your page from a comment on Barbara Cochran's page. I work in sales, always looking for new influencers and tips in the industry. That's a cup of coffee that's going to happen. So any others there, my friend?
Nope, that's it.
So here's what's interesting. Midday yesterday, I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm not going to have any Hall of Shame stuff to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I've delivered. We're all crazies, So fantastic. So I'm going to switch gears, talk about some real content now, real stuff you can take away. When I started in business, the first interview I went to, someone sat across the table from me and said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? At that point, I was like, dude, I don't know where I see myself next week, let alone, 5 years. So it was standard when I opened my business. My banker said, show me your 5-year plan. Can you imagine spending the time and energy to do a 5-year plan? No, ridiculous. So there is a rule called the 90-day rule. And the 90-day rule basically is this: whatever you do today, you'll see the benefits of 90 days from today. If you wonder why your business is floundering rather, look back and see what you were doing 90 days ago. This is a practice for any business, anything you do in life. You want to, plan 90 days. So if you're not thinking about where you'll be 90 days from now, right, that's where you have no idea where you'll wind up. Mark, you want to comment? Because I got tons of shit on this.
Yeah, I just, for a 5-year plan, you don't know what's going to happen in the next 12 months. That's really going to change the way you think, what you believe, what you know. But in the next 3 months, you can pretty much plan out what's going to happen. You can look at opportunities that are right in front of you and build a 90-day plan. What can I do in the next 3 months to really help those things? And that really gives it a real life cycle of, it's not a thing that I got to go push through right now. It's just something that I got to live and nurture for 90 days. That's realistic. And then as you're going through those 90 days, there's new opportunities that will come to you daily, both inbound and outbound, if you're marketing yourself the right way and are focused on the right activities, that as you start to nurture those, that sets out a new 90-day plan. And so you're constantly in this wave of 90 days of saying, what is this? What's going to happen to this one activity in 90 days?
So I think, for me, and I've had the 90-day rule in my business. Shay, would you jump back in for a second? Because I want to ask you a question. So Shay, here's the question. When you got hired, how long did you get hired? This was 7 years ago. How long did you get hired for?
90 days.
90 days. Every employee that I have ever hired, I hired for 90 days. Why? Because I don't know what you're going to look like. You don't know what I'm going to look like. All I know is that if we get together and agree on a 90-day roadmap, you'll know lots of stuff and you'll decide whether it's worthwhile to go forward. So that mentality has lived in my life for everything I do. What does 90 days look like from now? So there's a lot of people who woke up yesterday, September 1st, and go, okay, what am I going to do in September? Mark, what are we working on?
We're working on December 2021. Like, we're 90 days way ahead of where we're not looking at September. September's technically done. We know that there are new opportunities that will come up, but we're not, it's done. It's in the books. We're looking at all the way to November saying what's going to happen in that month, what's happening in December, what's happening in January.
So I see people all the time struggling, pushing, desperate to get to a monthly number, and if you're doing that in September, you're constantly going to be chasing your tail. And there's lots of businesses that are all about, you settle up at the end of the month. I was in the phone business, and the reality is we got paid by the carrier every 30 days. So the last day of the month, people were jamming shit in because they knew they wouldn't get paid for 45 days later. So this whole idea of it's okay to start making coffee visits for end of October, end of November, into December, because it's all based on calendar if you manage your calendar and use it right. So I want to give you some clues as to what a 90-day plan could look like. And today we're September, October, November done. We're already looking at December, January, February, always 90 days ahead. When Mark took over April 1st, what's the first thing we did was build you a 90-day plan. We said, what are we going to do? And you know what? Who could have predicted that we would, in March have the whole world shut down?
Yep.
If you're in the middle of a 5-year plan, you have no time to react because you're so busy looking way down. Look what's right in front of you. So here's what a 90-day plan could include. Specific focus. What are you focusing on? What people, what activities? Set your top priorities. Make concrete goals that support those priorities. And then probably the most important thing is determine how you'll measure it.
It's awesome. I mean, it's exactly what you need to do. That's the simple roadmap to building the activity of focusing on the now with a plan of what's happening, but not getting so overwhelmed by something that you're trying to accomplish 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. 90 days. Here's the life plan. Things are going to change. It's going to live, die. It's going to go stale. It's going to just kind of hit a plateau. There's a lot of things that can happen during that time, but that gives you a real timeline of focusing on a lot of activity to really make things happen.
So true. I want you for a second, and I'm going to give you some questions you can ask yourself, but I want you for a second to think about a football game. You plan it ahead, but while you're in the game, stuff happens and allows you to react to what's going on. It's not always about, oh my God, that's not what we planned, So I want
really relating that to a season in sports, and I'm actually going to talk about sports because the article on Jimmy Butler is phenomenal. There's a ton of takeaways for that for tomorrow. So that's a little foreshadowing. But wow. If you didn't hit your number in August, that's just a loss. You lost that week. That's it. Like in football, you're going to carry that for the rest of the season. It goes into a column, and you got to own it forever. The greatest thing about sales is that the month is over. Nobody's carrying that L with them unless you're doing it mentally. You can flush it and focus on the activity to win the next game, which is that month. But if you're only focused on trying to get that one win and you're not building the foundation to have a championship season, you'll never, ever win a championship. And championship behavior is actually what my scheduled post is for today, because champions act differently every single day of the week. They're not just trying to hump it in the quarter to get the extra win. They're practicing differently. They're thinking differently. Everything they do is different than everybody else. And that's why it's called championship behavior and championship mindset.
I love it. So I'm going to leave you with two last thoughts, things that you could questions you can ask yourself. And there's no secret here. The questions you ask yourself, the questions you ask the people around you, the question you ask of prospects is really how you find out what's going on. So first thing is, what are you committed to creating in 90 days? What is visualize what 90 days look like? I always tell people, draw a mountain. Jessica Tobin, who is in here, I said, draw a mountain. Every day is a step up that mountain. If you don't visualize yourself at the top of that mountain, you're never going to get there. So what are you committed to creating? And here's the question of the century. In what areas do you need additional training or strategizing in order to get there? Because if you are not equipped to do it, people who train for marathons, train for mountain climbing, train to be successful in sales, they get training. They look at their weak spots, they get better at it. So, to me, those two questions define a 90-day plan. So there you have it. So I think we're done for the day. Quick shout out to Pete Korber. Pete is a good friend, spent a lot of years with the Midas Corporation or TCB. Welcome to the Huddle. Pete, network with everybody. Pete is about to make a career change. So let's help him, connect with him in the huddle, and see if we can make something good happen for him. Last thing, shout out to Brandon Steiner. If you don't know who Brandon Steiner is, he's an icon in the sports marketing world, having worked with the Yankees, Mets, Jets, all the players from memorabilia. He sent me a voicemail yesterday. I couldn't answer the phone, and said, when you started doing this, I didn't really know what you were doing, but God, the interaction with you and your son, the fact that you are legitimately helping people, you are a special dude. Thank you for doing that. And so I say thank you for all that's going on here. We are all blessed. So have a great day. Wisdom Wednesday. Build your 90-day plan. If you don't have a plan, you can call any one of the three of us to help you outline it. See you guys. Stay on the ball.